Welcome back. Okay. This is going to be interesting. If you're looking for your next great read, this could be it. It's a coming-of-age novel combined with a whitewater adventure and story of tragic love. I mean, you know. The Barrens takes place in the barren lands of Canada, inspired by a real-life experience, and it's written by a father-daughter team from Minnesota, and they're actually friends of ours. Please welcome to the show for the first time, authors Kurt and Ellie Johnson. Well, and if people haven't figured it out, Ellie, how are you connected to the Jason Show?
Well, some people might know my mother. She tends to fly under the radar. Her name is Stephanie Hansen.
She's a wallflower.
Yes.
I mean, she
doesn't like to be the center of attention. It makes her uncomfortable.
Never. Kurt, let me ask you.
Sure.
What was Kurt is a writer, so this isn't you writing a book isn't a big surprise because you have done it. What was the catalyst for this project?
Well, the catalyst was my daughter taking a 500-mile canoe trip up in the subarctic Canadian wilderness called the Barrens. And she came home. I thought it was fantastic. I asked her a lot of questions. And then when she went back to school, I called her up and said, I have an idea for a good short story, because she was in an English class. And I said, the story is two girls go into this wilderness. One dies, and the other one has to canoe out with her buddy.
Yeah.
So she said, well, why don't you write it yourself? She wasn't into it. So
I was a little busy, frankly.
So it started off as kind of a short story or novella turned into a novel, not only because of the adventure story itself, but I had to delve into the backstory of these two women who were in love and had to find out about their sexuality, which was very uncomfortable for me because really not many parents want to talk to their kids about those sort of things.
Yeah. Well, okay, so we heard from your dad's point of view. What's the story from your point of view? You initially said no, as Kurt just said. What was the origin of the no? Were you just too busy, or were you like, no, I don't want to write this with you, Dad?
Well, I mean, at that point, it was more just like this idea of the story, which I really like the idea of the story. I love talking to my dad about it, but at the end of the day, it was my freshman year of college. I was going into my English major. I was just a little bit too busy. I had a lot of things on my own I had to write.
Yeah.
But I said that I think that's a really good idea. Like, you should write it. And I think that led to like this first draft, and realizing the first draft was a cool story, and like, how do you flesh out these characters? How do you dive into their backgrounds, make them feel authentic? And it really bred a lot of hours and hours of conversations, beers, phone calls, some pool, and yeah, just a lot of earnesty, which was hard.
Well, and I was going to ask about that. You know, this obviously isn't autobiographical, but it is based on a trip and was inspired by, I should say, and an essence of your journey. And I hate that word, but that's really, you know, what it is. What did this do? What did the process do for your relationship with your dad?
Well, I mean, it definitely, for better or for worse, you get closer, right? You just, oh, yeah, okay.
Settle down, Kurt.
But I mean, you have to be open and honest. I think that's what's hard is that like a lot of times when you have your parents sit down and like ask you like, so tell me about when you lost your virginity. It's like, oh, that's a trap. I don't, like, you're not, think about how to do this, like, how do you answer this question? But it was more so like about getting past that, almost like looking past the pressure of the relationship and just working on being honest with both yourself, but also maybe like my father less as a father and more as like an interviewer, an author, someone who really wants to try to build a character from the ground up. And these characters, in a lot of ways, feel authentic to my experience, feel real to me, because it's not just the journey that I took. It's, you know, like a lot of my upbringing and what it's like growing up as a gay woman. Yeah, it's challenging.
Now, we heard what your dad's reaction was. What was, you know what I'm going to ask. what was your very demure and quiet mother's reaction when you told her that you were going to do this project with your dad?
It was more that she my co-signature was almost constantly like being there throughout the story, and then realizing at the end of it that it like I had ended up co-authoring this book, and that my story was important to selling it. So it was more like my mom was really supportive of the story itself.
Yeah.
And then to a certain point, we kind of just realized it was something that we had done together, and kind of in order to sell it, publish it, and get through the process, we had to continue to do it together. And my mom's also a big part of helping us like sell and do like social media and media appearances. Like it's nepotistic, but she's a great help to like, she helps.
She is that. Kurt and Ellie are sticking around, and we have a little surprise when we come back. Their book is called The Barrens. It's available now. Go support local artists, support them. It's a great read. We'll be right back with more. More after this. The wallflower that is your mother.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Let's make it a good day. Oh, no matter what they say. Oh, yeah, yeah.
The guys at Yam House, get their music wherever you find music. Love them. I'm back with authors Kurt Johnson and his daughter Ellie. As I mentioned in the previous segment, our foodie queen, our North Star of eating, Stephanie Hansen, is Kurt's wife and Ellie's mom. Stephanie is on our show nearly every week, but today we want to learn about the Stephanie we don't know. That's right. We call this the dark side of Stephanie. No, I'm just joking. I'm kidding. So here's the deal. I'm going to ask Kurt and Ellie a few probing questions about Stephanie, and they're going to answer honestly. And if not, there's a shock system under the couch that will shock them. Here we go. Number one. What junk food does Stephanie always have in the house?
It's more. I was gonna say the answer is more like, what's the junk food she's not allowed to have in the house? She has a problem with popcorn. Serious problem with popcorn. She's not allowed to buy it regularly because she doesn't have self-control. She can't even eat it like 3 pieces at a time. Like, she'll shovel it. I don't think she chews. I think she shoves it down her throat. We had to yell at her at a bar just last weekend because she brought 2 servings of like their free popcorn.
Yes.
She went and self-served it, got 2 of them, and I said, "Oh, is one of those for us?" And she said, "No."
Kurt, you sign on with that?
Yeah. Second is probably chips and salsa.
She likes salt. She likes salt.
Yeah.
Salt.
It goes right with popcorn, but
Yeah.
if you go to a Mexican restaurant, they give you a bag of chips or a basket of chips. She eats them all, and then if they offer her another basket, it's trouble.
Oh God, I'm loving this. Number 2, what food does Stephanie secretly hate? Or with Stephanie, nothing's really a secret, so what does she hate?
She doesn't, I don't think she hates a lot of things. I think that she likes sweets less than maybe she needs to for her job. Like, again, she likes salt, she likes savory things. So I think that like she's kind of forced to be the baker that she doesn't always want to be at times.
Yes.
And then she'll come to us with cakes like, here, it's, this is, I think it's fine. We're eating it anyway. And it's like usually one of the best things you've ever had. But she just, I think like feels so like, I don't know what's good when I bake because I don't
Really
enjoy
like
it
sweets.
in particular. Yeah.
I can see that. I mean, when she bakes things here, she's a little wobbly with the confidence. Yeah. No, meaning she's not quite sure if it's good. I'm like, Stephanie, it's the best cake ever.
And it is. It's usually really good. Like, she's a good baker, but I just, like, it doesn't speak to her in the same way, I don't think.
Obviously, Stephanie does a lot of the cooking. Who usually does the dishes after she cooks? Kurt.
Always, of course.
Always?
Yeah.
Always?
Yeah.
Especially up
literally
north.
always.
Literally?
Always.
Always.
Even when I'm cooking up on the island, I leave her to drink wine with my mother while I go and do the dishes, even if I'm cooking.
Yeah, but you're gonna say aw, but he has this thing. He refuses to package up the leftovers. He'll make either me or my mother do that first, and then he'll do the dishes. He doesn't want to touch the leftover food.
Kurt, I don't blame you. I hate that. Okay, let's do one more. What's her favorite kitchen gadget? Any of them?
The spiralizer. That's easy.
Really?
I think so. Or the
lemon thing. The zester.
The zester, but really that pot, that steam pressure pot.
The Instant Pot. The Instant Pot. She loves the Instant Pot.
Oh, God.
She bought us an Instant Pot.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's great.
Give it up for Kurt and Ellie, everybody, once again. The name of their book is The Barrens. It's available wherever books are sold. If you want to meet Kurt and Ellie, they have some events coming up. Head to Stephanie's social media, and she has a list of all of that. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this. Back in a moment. Thank you, guys. Kurt and Ellie, everybody.